Hello, evening. I'm Nick Ireland, Dorset Councillor for Crossways Ward and leader of Dorset Council. So we've just finished the annual budget meeting, which always happens in February, and it's always a bit noisy and it always lasts a long time. But the budget is the biggest budget Dorset Council's ever had. It's around about £482 million in revenue budget and around about 66 million in capital. So some significant capital programmes. But it did get through. We had a healthy debate and a substantive vote, but I think it shows that in a climate of worsening local government funding, we are managing to manage our priorities and actually deliver against our four council priorities. And one of the other things we announced tonight in recognition of all the flooding that's been happening recently is an extra 5 million in capital to invest in areas that flood regularly, because there are people who get flooded out regularly, roads resurfacing, and also in investing in a brand new gullies team. So all the gullies are basically full now because all the debris has been washed down them. So we're investing in the gullies team, which for this year will probably be mostly cleaning the gullies after once the weather improves, and then we'll probably review going on forward whether to keep it going, which I suspect we probably will, because we recognise that climate change is real and these events aren't one in 100 any year. They're very frequent now. People get flooded out every year, and so we need to address that, and Dorset Council can and should do more. And one of the other agenda items was our boundary review. So we've requested that the Local Government Boundary Commission look at the constitution and the making of Dorset Council in terms of how many members it's got. It was last done in 2018. We were given permission by full council back in July to start this process, and tonight was the next stage where we essentially approve that we would, going forward, have the same number of councillors for the next term of Dorset Council. A lot of councils around us have actually reduced the numbers, but we've also got an increasing population. So on balance and through a cross-party working group, we came up with the number 82, which happens to be the same. And the next process is basically deciding the boundaries. Some of the boundaries will change because our population has changed. Some areas, like the Dorset Council area, have bigger population, and some areas are smaller. And generally, you have to have a similar number, plus or minus a certain percentage, to meet the rules, basically. And then the major other thing that we had, it was a notice of motion. Councillor O'Leary proposed it, and it was about addressing the fact that registered providers, housing associations, in other words, are getting rid of properties. And sometimes they do have to get rid of properties because they're old, they're not feasible to bring up to modern standards. There is a new rule saying that new buildings have to be, modern buildings have to be EBCC to be rent out. Someone you just can't do it. So, but the request for the motion was to basically, as amended by the Liberal Democrat group, was to ask the registered providers that when they get rid of properties, they actually replace them with other properties in the same local area to maintain community. It's not good selling a house, and in Littlemore, for example, was the example given, and building a house in Gillingham, because those families are still in Littlemore. So we passed that motion, and hopefully the registered providers will take account. And that's probably it, really. There was a few other agenda items, but nothing of major importance. So we have a full council in April, and then the annual meeting in May. For now, I'll sign out.